Hey guys, Chan here again, and today I'm going to talk about top 10 tips for BMT that are conventional and unconventional. Now, like always, it's going to take me more than 5 minutes for me to go and explain all of these to you, but of course, if you want to go watch a cute cat video, go on right ahead. Just know you won't be prepared for BMT like all the others were who passed it with flying colors. Now, anything that I say here is my own opinion and experiences, not the opinion of the Air Force as a whole. With that out of the way, if any of these tips help you at all, don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment down below. So, I got some notes over here on the tips. They are not in any type of order, ranking type of order. So, tip number 1, have the mindset of I am getting paid to get yelled at, fold, clean, and perform. Technically, you are there getting paid to do all those stuff so that you get basic training. Trust me, as soon as you go through tech school and as soon as you go through OJT, on the job training, what you go through there is so that they can get rid of all your lazy tendencies and your civilian past behind so that the Air Force can mold you into the airman that you need to be. The airman that has a sense of responsibility, sense of leadership, and that has a sense of order, respect, and integrity and excellence. Tip number 2, prepare for the storming and norming phase. Now, once you get to BMT, the MTIs and also other flights that you interact with, they're going to tell you about the storming and norming phase of your flight. So once you get to BMT, you and your flight, you guys are going to start getting to know each other. You're going to be like, hey bro, what's up? How you doing? Where are you from? And then that's going to be for the first few weeks. Then you guys are going to start clashing with each other because, of course, you're going to be with each other 24/7. You guys are gonna be showering together. You guys are gonna be PTing together. You guys are gonna be sleeping in the same dorm together. So there are gonna be some anger fights, just some miscommunication, some hypocritical comments here and there. You might not get along with your element leaders. You might not get along with your dorm chief. Definitely not with your dorm chief. But yeah, you guys are going to be storming. And then around the 4th, 5th, and 6th week, you guys are going to be in the norming phase. And that's when you guys start to perform like a well-oiled machine. Now, there are going to be days where you'll storm, or sometimes hours where you'll storm right after that, while you're in the norming phase, but it won't last a week long. Tip number 3, do not go to the bathroom during run days if you want to become a good leader. Quick story, my dorm chief, he and I and a few other guys, we were predominantly SEER flight. We had about 15 of us. We needed to run for the pass test, and I was good with running. That didn't take me out of SEER. It was BAS. But my dorm chief, he couldn't run for crap. His run was around 13 minutes. And there are some people out there in my flight who were not as fit as he was, but was still able to pass his run time. His run times were 13 minutes, 12 minutes, 11 minutes, and he would tell people that, oh, he's gonna pass SEER, but every single time it was a run day, he goes to the bathroom. And he just gives off that very hypocritical vibe as a leader instead of leading from the front and leading by example. So, long story short, he didn't pass the pass test. I'm not going to tell you who my dorm chief is. He didn't become SEER because all this time when you're supposed to be running, he spent the time going to the bathroom and skipping out on the runs. Tip number 4. You use your ruler and your wall locker to fold socks and shirts. Trust me, as soon as you get there, you'll know what I mean. Tip number 5, for commander's excellence, make sure you clean the latrines and utility room well, because that's the places that they will literally run their fingers through to see if there's dust, to see if there's tiny little hairs on the sinks. Those are the rooms that get dinged a lot. Trust me, they will do random commander's excellence inspections, and my flight came back from class one day and we got a 2 out of 10 and our MTIs were pissed, and we had to drop on the floor, do push-ups, flutter kicks, and while our MTI, the MTI that we called our dad, because he was like a father figure, was so disappointed in us and he was yelling at us. So that kind of sucked. Tip number 6, in BMT, the louder you yell, the better. MTIs and everyone else, including your teachers, love it when you yell very loudly in BMT. The louder you yell, the better. I may have been the shortest element leader and actually the shortest person on the flight, but I had a booming voice of an MTI. That also showed in tech school when I led flights of 62 to 104 people whenever I'd bring them back and forth in the mornings or going towards schoolhouse. Tip number 7, make sure you get your finances in order before you go to tech school. Make sure any debt that you have is not too much, is not to the point where the Air Force will look at you as more of a hindrance than an asset. Make sure you do not be a liability. Make sure you have those recurring payments for your car, for your bills, or at least have someone manage your bills while you're away for 2 months. Tip number 8. Make sure you make good memories with your family and friends before BMT, because as soon as you go away for 2 months, you'll be able to see them once you graduate for 2 to 3 days, but then you're off to tech school. And depending on your tech school, you won't be able to see them again unless you take leave, either on the holidays, or they visit you. So make good memories with your family, because the next time you'll see them, if you don't see them in tech school, is on RAP, or you're finally on station on your base and then they visit you. And depending whether you have to finish your CDCs to use leave, or your OJT like me where I don't have CDCs and I can just take leave, except during Corona. Make sure you make good memories with your family and friends. Tip number 9, during KP, which is kitchen duty volunteer, I love doing KP. I've done it 7 times. I got voluntoed twice and I volunteered 5 times. Try to do anything but pots and pans. A lot of people think pots and pans are just the worst because you just get all wet, soggy. The pans just feel like they just keep coming. It's like an infinite amount of pans, and you have to do that for I think 12 to 13 hours of just cleaning pots and pans. Yes, you get lunch breaks. Yes, you get breakfast breaks. Yes, you get dinner breaks, but it's just continuous repetitive cleaning, lots of water, hot water, scrub it out, next, etc., etc. At least when you're on the water line, the element leader line, or the dish runner, or the people in the windows where they clean off your plates and then pass it on, you're able to see the faces of the other trainees and interact. You get that human interaction while you're in pots and pans. You are back back in the back of the kitchen where you don't get to see all the other trainees, you don't get to see all the other MTIs, in which you think is good, but you get so bored so fast. And lastly, tip number 10, if you want your MTIs to befriend your flight and also tell you guys some funny ass stories, and heck, even get them to curse at you a bit while they're speaking in sentences, and not having to tiptoe around their sentences and actually be real with you, don't get too offended by your MTIs. This is why our MTIs, like, we thought they were the best MTIs we've ever had. We had the father figure, and we also had the cool uncle. The cool uncle would tell us the funniest stories and also the funniest, wittiest comebacks, to the point where one guy in our flight, he wrote down all the witty remarks and funny remarks our cool uncle MTI said, and the quotes that he had, back and forth 3 pages, because he just says the funniest shit. So don't get offended by what the MTIs say, so that they could get away with some of the things they say, because the more they get away with some of the things they say, the more real that the MTIs feel, rather than having them to, suppress themselves from what they really want to say. Yes, there will be some professionalism there, but I'd rather have an MTI who is real with me, tell me where I suck, where I don't suck, tell me how their day was, tell me to my face some of the funny, cringe-worthy moments of his career after week 6, after the whole PT test, the EOC, and everything like that, so that you can finally bond with your MTIs. Now, that's all the tips that I have. Those were my top 10 tips for BMT. Now, if any of this ever helped you at all, don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment down below. And hopefully I will come out with another video about my BMT experience. But other than that, that's all I have. See y'all next time. Shaka bra.